Now we got the hour system. Let's talk about something. I've got a lot of questions on. Let's talk about something that I guess you need to talk about, okay? Seat height. All right. Seat height. The Xr650l has got a 37-inch seat height, okay? And that's pretty tall. And I've been asked a lot of questions, and I'm going to try to answer some of these questions about what you can do about the seat height. Okay. One thing you gotta remember about bikes is motorcycles have progressed over the years. Excuse me. Have they got better? Well, the performance is better, the ride's better, and everything all around is all better. The only thing that it kind of holds true with the XR is it hadn't changed since it came out. It's still carbureted, and it's just a good bike. But anyway, I don't know how many people remember this, but you see that rear suspension there? That's what's called the Pro Length suspension, okay? And I'm gonna try to do this. Get down here where I can really see. And if you look right here, oh, that's hot. Right there is the main shock, okay? That main shock is your rear suspension. That's your spring, that's your shock, that's the whole thing. Okay, and what that does, the distance that shock either contracts whenever you hit a bump, or that controls how much movement you got in your swing arm, okay? So, and they talk about seat height. The way to change the seat height, if you look right down here, I'm gonna have to get down here where you can see it. I'm gonna try this without too much trouble, is what's called, I believe this is it right here. See it? See that right there? I believe that's what they call the dog bone, okay? And I think what they do is you can go with the longer dog bone, which will actually drop your seat height because it makes your suspension move down, okay? So that's one way you can do that. They do make these adjustables, so where you can adjust them kind of on the fly, you know, to suit your own means, which is great. But I believe that's what they call the dog bone, and like I said, that's how you can adjust your part of your seat height, okay? That's one way, okay? Now, on top of, if I can, okay, if you can look, okay, you see that spring in there? That spring and shock? On top of this spring and shock, if I can get my fat fingers in there, on top of that spring and shock is two nuts, okay? And you can back those nuts off, and you can change what's called the preload, okay, or the sag, whatever the case may be, which will drop your seat height. Because what you're doing, that spring is already compressed, okay? It's compressed to keep your bike from sagging down, keep your rear end from dropping so much. But it's not compressed so much that it gives you a stiff ride. So, but if you loosen that up, but you don't want to loosen it before your spring will rattle, okay? You can back it off a couple turns and see how it works for you. So, that's another way you can adjust the seat height, okay? The dog bone, and like I said, you can get them with the adjustable dog bones. I don't know that much about them, but I know they're a right hand and a left hand threaded ordeal, and it's like a turnbuckle. And you can turn that turnbuckle and make them either longer or shorter. I think longer gives you more, I think longer drops your seat height and shorter increased it. So there's two ways you can do it, okay? The third way you can do this is you can change the seat. Now I'm gonna get up here. Okay, if you look at the seat is pretty thick. You only got about that much padding. The seat concept comes out with one that drops it an inch, which will make a difference. Drop your seat height, okay? And after you do all this, and if your bike acts a little bit funny, and this is where I'd take it to a shop, or I'd get somebody that really knows what I'm talking about, you can drop your front fork tubes, okay? See this right here? See that machined area? That's how much adjustment you got in your front forks. You can actually drop that down to the end of that machine part there, which looks like about 3/4 of an inch. So you could actually drop the front end 3/4 of an inch, okay? Okay, as far as change the way this bike handles, change the way this bike reacts, everything you do to it's gonna change that just a little bit. But use this bike for what it was designed for. This bike is a dual sport. It's not a racer, okay? And there's nothing wrong with modifying your bike to get more speed out of it and get more whatever the case may be. Whatever you want to do to it, that's entirely up to you. But this bike wasn't designed for that. It's a dual sport. And I wish people would quit saying, well, you need to get more performance out of it. If you want more performance, get you a race machine, okay? It's like, come on. So, but that's all up to you. Now, this is all my opinion, and I can be full of crap. I've been full of crap most of my life, but I'm just trying to answer a few questions, okay? Because people are looking for answers. Do I have all answers? No. Do I know what I'm talking about? A little, okay? I do have a mechanical background, and I do understand a little bit about mechanics. So, with that being said, them's the ways I understand it. I've never put a dog bone on there. I haven't even really looked into them, okay? But I know that's one of the options. The seat height, you can get the seat concept, which I have one, and I need to put it on there. Oh, if you're going to order a seat concept, a little bit of advice. And the reason why I say that, because it gives you a choice. I ordered the seat concept replacement seat, okay? And I thought I was getting full seat, but I didn't get the seat pan. All mine is a recover kit. And for an extra 50 bucks, I could have got the whole thing. And it's like, buy the whole thing. And the reason why I say that, you say, well, that's 50 bucks. But if you put it on there and you don't like it, and you just recovered your old pan, you're stuck with it unless you want to put it back on there. Double work. So, but if you buy the other seat, okay, you put it on there, you don't like it, you still got your original seat, and you can sell that on eBay and get 3/4 your money back. See what I'm saying? So that's kind of, that's enough of that. So, dog bone, preload on your shock, seat height, your different seats, and you can adjust your front forks. And you know, it's like somebody made a comment about the dampening screws on this bike. Well, all that's for is for compression and rebound. It's not really going to change the height because you still got so much spring in her. And all the dampening does is how quick it reacts, how quick it compresses, and how quick it comes back. You know, and now there again, I'm just stating my opinion. I'm no expert, but that's the way I understand it. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of touch bases on you know, questions that people have asked. And you know, you're only going to get so much adjustment out of it. I'm going to guess, even with doing all those things, the most adjustment you're going to get out here is probably, and I'm going to say probably a maximum of 3 inches, if you can get that. We'll say a longer dog bone will change that by an inch. The seat will change it by an inch, and then doing the preload might change it by an inch. I'm just guessing, okay? So the maximum you're going to get is about 3 inches. But if you can, and here's another thing, and I learned this kind of the hard way. If I'm wearing my tennis runners, my tennis shoes, I stand on my tiptoes. I'm wearing a pair of boots, okay, and they've got like a 1 inch heel on them. I can stand flat-footed. See what I'm saying? So what you're wearing when you're riding makes a big difference too. Get you a set of logger boots, okay? That's got 1.5 inch, almost 2 inch heel on them. And you'll see, whoa, this bike ain't so bad, because you gain an extra 1.5 inches to 2 inches just wearing logger boots. So the shoes you wear, you know, makes a big difference too. I mean, you should always wear good shoes anyway. You know, don't go out there and wear your shower shoes or your Crocs, because that's just kind of, you know, it's kind of stupid. But anyway, but it's up to you. You do what you want. So there's 3 ways right there: the seat, the side adjustment on your shock, and your dog bone, and your shoes, your boots that you're wearing. There's 4 ways to change the seat height. Okay, there's 4 ways of making that bike more comfortable for you. So that's like I said, that's hopefully I can answered some of the questions. But now remember, like if you can drop that seat down and you drop the rear tire down, we'll say you do the dog bone, you do the preload, and you do the seat. Okay, remember one thing: if you don't drop that front end, it's going to make them handlebars a little higher. I like my handlebars high, but if you're going out there and doing some hill climbs and stuff, it's automatically going to put you, their front end is going to be high. So it's just something to think about. You know what I mean? It's common sense. But use the bike for what it was designed for. Come on, it's a dual sport. It's to get out there, ride some back roads, ride some country roads, and if you've got access to like desert and mountain roads, stuff like this, that's great. But it's not a dirt bike. It is not a dirt bike. It's a dual sport. Use it as a dual sport. Ride it as a dual sport. Treat it like a dual sport, and you'll have years and years and years of fun with it. Don't try to turn it into something that's not. Yeah. So that's just my thoughts. Okay. I have a dirt bike, and if I get the need to go out there and throw my face down the dirt because I crashed or because I'm doing something stupid, I'll ride my dirt bike. Okay. So it's just, this is a dual sport. Use it as a dual sport. I ain't saying you ain't going to get in some situations where you've got to act like it's a dirt bike. I understand that. But if you're going out there with intentions of riding this like a dirt bike, you're misusing the bike. Okay. Get you the Xr650l. It's a dirt bike. Get you they make all kind of they can make a 400 class, a 300 class, whatever, but they're dirt bikes, and that's what they're for. So this is a dual sport. Ride it as a dual sport. Treat it like a dual sport. Respect it as a dual sport, and it'll give you years and years of service as a dual sport. It ain't a racer. It's not a street bike. It's a kind of a real light duty off-road, on-road adventure bike, dual sport. You can kind of cross the line there as far as adventure bike and dual sports, depending on how much luggage you want to put on it. But don't misuse it. It's not going to get out there on the interstate and run 80 miles an hour. It ain't going to do it. It ain't going to get out there and do hair scrambles and hill climbs and stuff. You can turn it into one if you want to, but it wasn't designed for that. So it's a dual sport. Seat height. Hope I answered some questions. I don't know. Like I say, I am no expert by any means, and there's people out there that knows a whole lot more about this than I do. But what I know, which is very limited, hopefully I passed on here and give you some ideas, because that's what it's all about. But whatever you do to that bike, do it because you want to make that bike fit you. Don't do it because Joe Blow over here did it and he says it's great, because you ain't Joe Blow. You are you. Only make modifications to your bike that fits you, that enhances you and your riding ability. Don't do it because somebody else did it. Don't do it because it's popular. Don't do it because 90,000 people did it. You ain't 90,000 people. We're all different. So when you make adjustments to your bike, when you do modifications to your bike, do it so it will enhance your riding pleasure, so it will enhance your riding ability, so it will just enhance you and the bike together, because you got to be part of the bike. Don't do it because it's fashionable. I guess that's enough of that. But anyway, I just wanted to hope I answered some questions. So hey, ride safe, ride free.